Okay. Dilapidated properties, citations, court actions, are we anywhere with any of that?
We have, I don't know how we are on shoe store. Maybe Adam can help with that. And Willie, we had him send a letter to the city with his intentions. And I don't even remember exactly what he said to you.
He is expected to be started this month and completed, I believe, next month. If you look at the time frame he requested it.
I saw his crane down there Sunday.
I think he was there yesterday.
They were taking pieces off of it today.
Within a month, great. Yeah, that'd be good. It'd be nice to have that cleaned up.
We have brought it up to his attention approximately every month. And I usually report Shirley when I talk to him and what he says.
Which I'm going to start on there next week. I'm going to start on that next week until I finally did. So.
On the Winchell property, a couple of things have happened since the last time you met, but just to bring you up to speed on the most recent ones. Barb the mayor had scheduled a meeting with Dee Winchell to go back and discuss with her the possibility of adding to her original offer. In particular, one element of the discussion was going to surround ownership during the demolition process. Because one of the things that was communicated back to us is the reason we have not been successful on our grant attempts to assist with the cost of this project is they want clarification on who's going to own the property during the demolition process. And I think it's been stated more than once by the city council where they stand on this issue. That is a sticking point for them. And so Barb was going to communicate that back to her along with some further requests as far as financial donation towards the project. On the day she was scheduled to be down there was the day that her father passed away, Mr. Winchell passed away. They have rescheduled that meeting, but it has not taken place yet.
Is there any other properties that we needed to address?
516, I think it is, Platt Street.
516.
On the north side. It's that house that's been condemned.
Okay, yep, that's the one we cannot get anybody to even accept our letters. We sent one to Cedar Rapids, one to Minnesota, we sent them all over. It's, I believe Jack Harms owned it. Are we at the same
No,
property?
I think the one he owned is gone.
Well, yeah, he did own that one too.
Oh, did he? Okay. Well, it's where Larry Bowman's folks lived.
Correct.
Yep. Anyway, fire department was called there over a year ago.
Yep.
And there wasn't any water, I don't think. It turned on to the place, and it was considered unlivable at the time.
Yeah,
And it wasn't red tagged or something at that time? Or?
That I don't.
Well, it should have been if it wasn't. But anyway, it's just sat there, and it's a mess, and something should be done about it. And I don't care who owns it. I don't care if the city does it or Nick does it. Somebody needs to do something about it. That, you know, if we don't get started on some of these properties, doing something about these, they're just going to keep growing and growing like they are. I'm not real sure about the address, but I think
I know exactly the house you're talking
about.
It is the Bowman house.
All over. What's that?
It is the Bowman house.
Yes.
It was the old Bowman house,
Yeah. I know which one it
who
is.
Clausen ended up with,
Uh-huh.
and I believe Clausen traded that for, Harms had that Forest Appliance building.
Yes.
I think Clausen ended up with that, Harms ended up with the one on the hill. Harms passed away, and none of his kids will accept registered mail on the property. We just sent all the kids, and we don't know.
I think it's the third house going up the hill on the north side.
I'll talk with Terry about talking with Carl last week.
Yeah, I'm open for suggestions.
Well,
I'm not
We have
sure.
mailed out.
Terry will have to talk to Colin and find out exactly what's allowable as far as public notice. I'm not sure under the circumstances this one will actually qualify for public notice. But we'll talk to this, that's why we have a city attorney, so we'll talk to him and say if it qualifies under those circumstances.
But I know that's been over a year ago.
A couple
Yeah.
of years since the fire, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's places like this that we have to act on.
Well, we're having
Or
trouble.
else just forget it, one or the other.
Well, I'm not even sure it qualifies as a dangerous building. It's maintenance. There's just zero.
Or
It needs
abandonment.
shingles, it needs, just needs everything.
I qualify for abandonment. Since nobody will accept ownership of it, I don't know.
Well,
Who's been paying the taxes on it?
I don't know.
Probably nobody.
So how far back are they in arrears?
I could check for you, I don't know. Right off the top of my
That's
head.
one of those
I
things
think
where
that's-
the county will work with you to forgive the taxes or something on the property.
Yeah, They were high or something. I'm not sure.
Okay,
They
yeah,
didn't
we
have
sent
any-
letters to him, he went from Auburn to Lake City. Remember this deal, Adam? The people that lived there, they went to Auburn,
I don't know.
and now that I bet we've sent 10 or so pieces of registered mail trying to get something rolling on that.
This is across the street from the Fairbrother family.
Correct.
Yes, yep,
Yep.
Scott.
It was Jack Harms's, and then it was sold to this guy, and they never transferred the deed, so it's still in
I didn't know that Jack owned it at one time,
Yep.
but it's the old
Bowman place.
Bowman
Yeah,
property.
that's what I know it is too.
I guess the two properties I have questions on is the building that fell down, tore down, or whatever next to the VFW. And has Hufford done anything on that one up by you, Terry, that we posted last fall?
Yep, they covered the hole in the
That's
roof.
cleared, okay.
And they just laid shingles over, just filled the hole in. And it's another property maintenance issue.
And the one north of the VFW, the status of that is supposed to be taken
It should be hauled away.
all the way.
Who owns that one?
It's a mystery again.
Was that the old Boy Scout building or whatever?
Yes.
Did somebody
They wanted
donate
to
it
give
to the Boy Scouts?
That was owned by Leroy Anderson,
Oh, that's right.
and he was the one that went to prison.
We're gonna put you-
Hasn't paid the taxes. The back taxes were bought by a guy in Wyoming, I believe.
Yeah, that Dalton maybe.
We'd chase that baby around too.
Yeah.
But he's never taken
Title.
deed to the property.
If they don't take the deed to it, then it's in limbo again.
Yeah, it's,
So who legally owns it now, the county?
well, the deed holder, if we were to look it up, the deed holder probably still says Leroy Anderson. But he has abandoned it for how long?
Rather blue
Longer than I've been here.
A long time.
Yes.
That would
Jack
be another
Dalton
one.
was the name of the guy that paid the taxes.
Jack Dalton.
Adam, did you check with Colin on that one too?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, that would be another one.
Well, I think we got this one handled.
Yeah.
So who's gonna wind up with it then?
Well, it'll be on a county tax sale.
Yeah.
Okay.
If the building's on, somebody will probably buy the property. so-
One of the difficulties with that piece of property is whoever ends up with it in the end isn't going to have much value in it because it is in a floodplain region, so
Yeah,
You can't build
there.
on it.
you can't really do anything on it. So for the most part, it's going to just basically
Parking
sit.
lot, huh?
Parking for
I think you
VFW,
have to
maybe.
be, or the, what is it? Army Corps of Engineers have to bless it before you build one. They have that same thing with VFW, built that garage, that they store their flags and stuff in. That had to go from Army Corps of Engineers.
It'd be very difficult to put it in the home, especially with the push that you're hearing being made by certain segments of the DNR that they don't want any building to occur inside of that floodplain region.
Agree, that's what I'm hearing too, so it'll just become a piece of property.
And the other building that you may be concerned about is Sunwise.
A couple of the business people have volunteered to go down to and have put their own money and efforts into cleaning that up, so hopefully they'll continue to do that. But that will be, the main corridor coming into town from the new highway,
That's
so
the sad part of it right there.
that's why they've been having meetings on trying to get that corridor
What-
cleaned up.
Can you do
What
that
was-
safely?
There must be cleaning up from the outside. They tore a bunch of stuff
There's a
out.
couple of things built into this. They are contacting Mr. Pat up to make sure. They contacted us and told us kind of what they had in mind as far as different activities there. They've taken steps to contact Mr. Pack to communicate what they're planning on doing on his behalf. Everything that they've been looking at doing so far has been external. Nothing has been discussed from the internal standpoint.
And that'd be another very expensive. Like, what was the estimate?
The original estimates when I was working with the EPA was somewhere in the neighborhood of $250,000 to clean up
I
that.
believe that whole building has to go to Cherokee landfill.
They felt that, yeah, it would likely have to be taken up.
It's not a ground under
Oh,
Do they need to be brought up to speed?
Thanks,
Why
Pat.
there's no issue with that in regards to Mr. Pat?
Oh, they're
We know.
probably familiar, but the judgment had 3 segments to it, and the 3rd segment, of course, was a cleanup portion. He filed a petition of destitute, and it was granted by the judge. So we, unless his financial status changes, we cannot hold him financially liable.
who did? Ken Pack?
Yeah.
Maybe to cities.
I do know the EPA had monitored his financial status over the last couple of years to determine if he's still financially healthy.
Follow him around with golf courses.
You can do that, okay. Anything else?